Hello, Cricuters. Welcome to Cricketing with Delonda. It's me again, Delonda, and I am so glad you have joined me today. As promised, this is part 2 of the photo clocks. If you saw the first tutorial on photo clocks, you saw that I showed you my process for creating a photo clock in Cricut Design Space. Well, I said during that video that I would do a part 2, like a follow-up video to show you the process for creating a photo clock in Microsoft Word. The process is fairly simple. The difference is you won't be able to have your Cricut cut the clock out for you, cut the template out for you. So it's just a few steps. You do have a lot of creative freedom in Microsoft Word because you can go in and add text. You can change the color of the template. You can do a lot of the same things that you can do in Cricut Design Space, with the exception of having your Cricut cut the circle out for you. If you haven't already noticed, my clock that I created on earlier this week is up on the wall. I did notice that my numbers and my text is off a little bit, but I still love it. I think it gives it character. And hopefully you've also noticed that I have a new setup. I am in the process of renovating the game room because this is where I'll be probably, most likely. And to be honest, I've fallen in love with it. So I'm pretty happy to be here, to be in this space. All right, so this was the clock that I showed you as a teaser to say, hey, I want to show you my process for creating this one. This is a picture of my husband and I from our wedding day. And of course, red is my favorite color. Maybe that's another reason why I love the Rockies. I don't know. So I made this one in Microsoft Word, and I talked with my mom earlier today, and I said, hey, I need to make another photo clock. Send me a picture. So this is one of the pictures that she sent me, and of her and her husband, my stepdad. And I said I will make a photo clock for her. So this is how this one came out. I'm pretty pleased with it. The only thing I didn't do that I did on mine was add font. I added some text. And I didn't do it on hers, but I think she's still gonna love it. And she's probably gonna love the fact that she is on YouTube even more than that. So shout out to you, mother o' mine, Denicio Del Toro. That's what I call her. All right, so without further ado, let me tell you what you need. You will need a wall clock. I'm using the wall clock from Walmart, $3.88. You will need a screwdriver. At one point I couldn't find the screwdriver. I thought I was going to be able to use the big one, but I couldn't. You will need a AA battery. Each clock does take a one AA battery, so you'll need that. I use my weeding tool to poke the hole in the middle. And I use Printable Vinyl, the Paper Studio Printable Vinyl from Hobby Lobby, to cut out the photo. And that is it. I didn't have any other special tools. I used Microsoft Word. I did use my Cricut Explorer Air 2 to cut out a circle for cardstock so that I could put the photo paper on the cardstock. But that was just about it. So without further ado, let's head on over to Microsoft Word. Okay, I am in Microsoft Word, and I'm showing you the photo clock that I made last time. This is the finished product that I created right here in Microsoft Word, and this was the clock that came out. So it came out really nice, and the the hour hand is covering my face, but as you can tell on this template, there is no hour hand because I have to put that on there. All right, so I'm going to show you my process for getting to that. So I'm going to go to File and go to New Blank Document. The first thing that I would suggest you do is change the margins. So right now my margins are automatically set in Microsoft Word, but I will make sure to just make them as wide as I can, because you'll need to make your circle template big, and if your margins are cutting off your circle, then you won't have a good image. All right, so after you change the margins, just make them wide, and I have this in portrait mode. So if I look at my layout, the orientation is portrait, not landscape. I'm going to keep it in portrait mode, and this is just a regular 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. So I'll go to Insert, I'll go to Shapes, There isn't really a circle shape. This one says oval, but it really doesn't matter because you're going to make it a circle. So you just put in any size and then go over here to the right where it says size and then just resize it. So the size that you will need is 7.75. So 7.75 for the height and 7.75 for the width. Okay, so now I have a perfect circle. And then the next thing I'll need to do is fill this shape because I don't want it to be blue. I'm actually going to fill this with a picture. So I have my picture already. I'm going to choose fill from a file. Okay, so I have a file that's already saved on my, I have it in my desktop Cricut files. It's in my clock files. I am going to use a picture of my parents. I did not play with this photo or, brighten it, or the only thing I kind of did was beforehand was just crop it a little bit because this was a full length photo, so you can see their feet, but that is not important for this tutorial. Okay, so I did that. The next thing that you will need to do, which is what I did, is you will need to go to Google Chrome. I always use Google Chrome, and you will do a search for clock PNG transparent background. Okay, and so if you click that, if you go do a Google search, you'll come up with all of these different options. So normally when you go to Google, so if I just go to another Google and I just type in clock, I'm not going to type it because it's already here, I'll get all of these options. I typically choose images, and this is what will pop up. I'm looking for a file that is a PNG file. And for the clock, the clock that I'm using, I don't need a clock that has the hands on it because I'm going to use the hands that are already on the clock. So I'm looking for something that is a PNG file that either has the numbers with this little dot in the middle, but nothing that has the hour and minute hand because you won't need that if you're using the same clock that I'm using. So this one is nice. This is a good option. This one just says clock PNG transparent background. This is if you wanted to have Roman numerals, but this one wouldn't work because it has the hands on it. You need a clock that has no hands on it. This one would be a good one. This one just says vector clock. This one is if you just wanted one with, the numbers and big bold font. I like that one actually. I've already chosen the one that I'm going to use, and I'll show it to you. So I'm just showing you this so you'll know how to get there. Of course, you can't use any of these because that will look kind of, well, you might like it, but I don't think I would like it inside my clock. So I'm not going to use that. I am going to go back to Microsoft Word because I already have a file, a clock file that I'm going to use. So I'm going to go to insert. I'm going to insert a picture from this device, and I'm going to use my clock template where I did a remove BG. I guess I do need to show you that because I want you to know how to do that. Let me click it. And as you can tell, when it comes in, it's going to come in behind my photo, and I'm going to actually move it so that it's in front of the photo, and I'll stretch it. Let me go back to Google Chrome to show you how to do that. All right, so let's just say, for example, I chose this clock right here, which I have not, but I'm using this one as an example. Okay, so I'll right click on it. I will save it. So I'm going to save image as, and you can call it whatever you want to call it. Okay, so I might call this clock. I'll call it clock 5. Okay, and it's a PNG image, and I will save it. And then I need to go to remove BG, remove.bg. So I go to remove.bg. I'm going to upload an image. I'm going to upload the one that says what I called it clock 5. So I'm going to open it. Okay, and you see it comes in a little dirty. Well, I call it dirty because it's not a good file, right? So what you'll need to do if this happens, because you don't see the one, you don't see, so it's not really a good clean file, kind of just clean it up a little bit, and it gives you options over here. So if I click on this one, okay, this one looks good. Let's see what this one looks like. Too blurry. This one is also blurry. Okay, I don't like either of those. So this one right here this one will be fine. So if I download this, I have the option to share it or download it. I do want to download it. It has the background removed, and if I wanted to use that in my project, I could. Okay, but I'm not going to because I already have one that I'm going to use. Going back to my file. All right, so these are my parents, and I want this to be in the front of their photo. Okay, and the one thing I do like about using Microsoft Word instead of Cricut Design Space is that I have so many options for what I can do. The only downside to doing it, to creating a photo clock within Microsoft Word, is that I can't use Cricut Design Space to cut out this perfect circle for me, but I'll show you my workaround for that. All right, so I'm focusing on this clock because I want that to be in the front. So I'm going to right click, okay, and I'm going to go to size and position. I'm going to go to text wrapping, and I'm going to put that in front of the text. Now, even though the picture is not a text, I still want that clock template to be in front of their picture. And so now all I need to do is just resize it to the same size as their picture. Okay, so I'm going to do that. Let me change the view a little bit just so I can make sure, kind of the same thing what I do in Cricut Design Space. I change this up a little bit until it is the exact same size as my image. Okay, so now another thing that I would probably do is change the color of the template, because it's black, the numbers are black, and you really can't see it very well. Another option that I could do is change the transparency of the photo. So I could make it, a little bit more transparent so that I could, have the numbers on top and it would show up better. I could change the color of the numbers. So if I wanted to change up the way this, the numbers look, the colors of it, I could do all of that because I could just go and format this. So if I right click on it and I click format picture, I have all of these options. I could change the shadow, I could change the presets, I can have an inner shadow on it. Let me just kind of offset it a little bit so you can see what I mean by that. Okay, so it just kind of did it a little bit. It's not even very noticeable. I could change the color if I wanted to. So if I wanted it to be, blue, I actually don't want a shadow on it at all. I could change it to green. I don't want to have a reflection, or I don't want it to have a glow. Let me see what these glow. Where I don't like it. I'm gonna say no to that. It looks kind of, no. I did do a little glow on mine, but I did it in red. Of course I did it in red because red is my favorite color. But I don't like the way this looks. So let me take the glow off, and I could change the edges. I can make it, let's see what the artistic effects are. So let's see the different color options. I don't like it at all. Now I do like it being a little bit more bold. I like that. And maybe I could change the color a little bit. I kind of like that one. Let me just play around with it a little bit until I find a color that I like. Okay, so I have the clock the way that I want it, and it's aligned perfectly on top of the photo. I didn't like the transparency in the photo, so I just brought it back to the regular color. Let me look at it one more time. This one is even more vibrant, and I think I like it like this. I am going to go ahead and print it just like this. So I am using the Paper Studio Printable Vinyl from Hobby Lobby, and The good thing about, using this is that it does give me it gives good clarity. It gives good, it produces good photos. And like I said before, millions of times, I do not have a good printer. So that paper has worked well for me. Okay, so when you have them lined up the way that you want them and it looks the way you want it to look, you go ahead and click print and make sure you have a print preview so you can see what it looks like, and make sure that none of your image is cut off. So I'm kind of concerned about this side right here. I'm going to go back one more time and just check that and make sure that it's not cut off. Okay, so I moved it over a little bit and the numbers look a little bit weird, but I'm okay with how they look for this. So I will get my Paper Studio printable vinyl and I will stick it in my printer. If you watched the last video, you will know that I said that when I'm using Paper Studio printable vinyl or any printable vinyl, I don't stick the paper all the way into the machine because I want to make sure that it's not going to get stuck. So I stick it at the very edge of the feeder tray, and I make the machine work a little bit harder to recognize the paper is there. So I'll get it printed and then I'll come back and show you the next step. Okay, so when I click print, it gave me a warning. It says your margins are pretty small. Some of your content might be cut off when you print. Do you still want to print? And my answer is yes. Okay, so I have my photo clock printed out that I created in Microsoft Word. And even though I created the clock template in Microsoft Word, I'm going to use my Cricut to cut out a circle. And that's all it's going to do. So I'm going to go to shapes, go to circle, keep it on basic cut. I'm going to change the size of this to 7.75 and it automatically changed the height, so it's 7.75, and I am just going to do a basic cut. I'm going to click make it. I am connected to my Cricut Explore Air 2. I don't need to mirror this or anything else. I am using a plain sheet of white cardstock that was asked of me. What kind of cardstock? Is the plainest, cheapest cardstock, because you won't even be able to see it the way that I use it. I only use the Cricut machine to cut out a circle because I want my circle to be perfect. And then what I do is I put my photo on top of the circle using the printable vinyl. I'll show you. So this says base, my base material is iron-on, and it is not. It is just regular paper. I'm just going to keep it on paper plus, that's fine. And I am going to put it on a mat and I'm going to press the C. Okay, so I have the circle cut out and I just use regular white cardstock, and so I can take the cardstock from the mat. I use the light grip mat for this. So I have the circle, I have the photo. I will put the circle on top and I will cut around it to make sure that they're the same size, and I'll come back to the video. Okay, so I have my photo on my circle. The printable vinyl is just attached to cardstock, and I am going to take the clock apart same way I did in the other video. On the back of the box, it just says remove. Twist to remove, so I'm going to do that. You don't need a tool for that, even though there are screws on the back of the box. I had to use my husband's big screwdriver because I couldn't find my little one that I just used the other night. So one thing I said was that when you're taking your clock apart, you can use the box to hold the materials. I have seen other suggestions about needing other materials in addition to the screwdriver. You won't need anything else. If you have been following me, or if you have been a subscriber and you've joined me before, you know this background is a little bit new. This room is a work in progress. I will do this all in a time lapse and come back to you once I have it taken apart. There are 6 screws that I'm going to take apart from this clock, and I will put this photo inside and I'll put the hands of the clock back inside. So once you have the 6 screws from the back, just pick the clock up and take it apart. I'll leave the glass, I'm going to leave the glass in here. It's already in the proper place. I'll clean it before I go forward. The next thing that I suggest doing is just pulling up on the hands. So these are in order, least to greatest. So the first hand is the second hand, so you don't have to kind of remember that. The next one is the minute hand. So it's the longer black hand, and the last one is the hour hand. Just take that up and then take the photo that you have and kind of just center it. Okay, and I used my weeding tool last time. I'm going to use my weeding tool this time to just make a hole. The good thing about the template that I chose, it already has this little hole right here, so I know exactly where to poke this one. So I'll poke it from here in the front because I can see it, and then I'll poke another hole in the back to make it a little bit bigger. I also used hot glue last time to attach this, and I probably should do that again this time. Okay, so this is the final product, and I'm pleased with the way that it turned out. If you got a chance to see my clock tutorial that I posted earlier this week, you'll notice that that clock had text on it, so that's an option that you can do in Microsoft Word. I didn't add any text to this clock, but that's something that you can do if you follow along with the tutorial. This was the one I made the other day. You can see I have where it says Timeless Love on it, and it's a picture of my husband and I on our wedding day. And this just is a picture of my parents. So my mom and my stepdad, they will love it. All right, I am so happy you joined me today. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Turn on the bell for notifications. I am trying to get to 500 subscribers, you guys, and I am just shy of that. So if you could really help me out by going ahead and clicking the like and subscribe button, and take it one step further by just leaving a comment. Tell me if you like it. Tell me if you hate it. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. And I would very much appreciate that. There's a member in my Facebook group. Her name is Dana. Last time I made a video, I was not wearing Rockets gear. I am wearing my Rockets gear today. I'm wearing an old James Harden jersey from when he played with the Houston Rockets. He is no longer with the Rockets, but they are still my team. And you know, we have jerseys from when he was a player on that team, so I can still rock it. All right, so thanks again for watching. If you haven't already, like I said, hit that like and subscribe button. Invite somebody else, share the information with somebody else. I do have a small group on Facebook. It's called Cricut Crafting with Delonda, and it is definitely a group for beginners. It is a safe space. We share, we teach, we help, we encourage. We don't do dumps and we don't do sales. So thanks again for watching. Bye.